Like, we can't roll on this fast enough. Shirtless and with the sound of hockey tape going on shin pads is how you enter the chat.
Well, I'm skating right after.
So put your gear on when you get to the rink like a grown human.
I told you what I do, and I like stopping for a coffee, listen to my podcasts. I like entering the rink 5 minutes before. Then afterwards is when we mingle.
Question is, do you enter the rink with theme music? I feel like if you come in with five minutes before, it should be like wrestling. You have your theme playing.
He does. He pokes his head in the door and has a teammate cue the music, and then he walks in.
Oh, there's the girdle.
The old school girdle.
This guy. Jeez. Let's keep it G-rated here on the pod. You get the red socks, too.
St. John's Caps, baby.
Full credit, full marks to our players for playing in probably our best period of the year in the second period.
Well, who would have guessed it would take the captain getting hurt and exiting the game for a short time for the Oilers to finally find top gear? Welcome to Got Your Back. Today on the podcast, a players-only meeting after the first period. Well, it seemed to work. The Oilers put together one of their most dominant periods that we have seen from this group. 26-2 the shots. You kidding me? 3 even-strength goals. Salvages a 6-game homestand. Struds, Terry Ryan, and I will discuss. And in our takeaway segment, what the heck is up with the Vancouver Canucks?
You got to stay optimistic. You can't just keep beating yourself up or keep feeling sorry for yourself.
Well, the fans and the media are going to do a good enough job of that. How about 7 straight losses to start a season? Unreal. The wheels have come tumbling off in Vancouver. Presented by Mr. Dirk, this is Got Your Back. And we want to remind you that Mr. Dirk is the iconic men's clothing store in Edmonton, founded in 1939. They've got an absolutely gorgeous shop just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. All kinds of clothing for whatever you need clothing for. Casual clothes, they got it. Jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters, shoes. And if you're looking for something on the more formal side, an amazing selection of name brand suits as well, sport coats, ties. They can do customs as well. They've got an in-house tailor. They're clean and strutty up this year. Did you see him on set the other night? Looking pretty sharp. Mr. Dirk really is a one-stop shop for all your clothing needs. And we are so happy to have them on board as we say good morning to the whole crew. All 4 of us. Jason Strudwick, Terry Ryan, and Chris Sabunia. Struddy, you missed it, but Zuby, you saw it. TR entered the chat today. Tarp off, so they say.
Hey,
impressive.
I'm getting ready to play hockey, guys. The middle of my day is action-packed, as you know, so I'd rather be prepared.
Which part of your day isn't action-packed?
Yeah. True enough. It's all different kinds of action, but good point, Strauss.
I thought we were going to have a players-only meeting there for a minute.
We did.
Day started here.
Our first ever players-only meeting here on Got Your Back, and the content is, can we all show up completely clothed, please? I can't believe we have to have this discussion.
Fair. That's fair. We can. Yes. You guys were 3 minutes early, by the way. My tarp was about to go on.
Right. I mean, for sure, and that's on us. But in fairness, you literally still had to click enter the chat for you to enter the chat, and you made the choice to do so before you were fully clothed.
True enough. Point taken. And I'm still wheeling around. I think it's all right. Tarp's off. It's a nice day. You know what it is today in St. John's? I just woke up. It's 13 degrees already, and it's supposed to be 20.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. We've had tarps off for half the week. I'm not kidding.
Are you guys, Struddy, Zuby, are you guys tarp off kind of guys around the house? Like if it's just you and the missus and the kids, like how often are you wandering your house shirt off?
Pretty rare.
Next to none, yeah.
Pretty rare. I never have. I've never been a shirts off. Never been a shirts off. In our house, no shirts, no shorts, no service. Pretty standard. My boys try to run around their underwear. I'm like, no.
Oh,
upstairs
really?
and get some clothes on.
I'm like Tarzan a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I'll have friends tell you going way deep into my past that I used to do the Costanza tarp off in the bathroom, but not just casually around the house.
Well, Struddy, aren't you a never nude from when you played, Struddy? Weren't you showering in jean shorts back in your day?
No. I never sleep naked. I've never slept naked in my life.
Oh, slept.
Never. I've never in 47 years slept naked. Even as an infant, I had clothes on.
No way.
Never.
Oh, I'm more often than not. I got to be
Oh,
honest,
no.
every once in a while.
Never sleep in your bed.
Oh, no.
It depends where I'm sleeping. If it's my bed, everything's off for sure.
We're about to find way too much out about TR here. So you're geared right down for sleeping time there, TR?
Oh, yeah. I got to be comfortable. So take that as you will.
Huh. I just thought maybe that if you had a ice time the next day, you might just sleep in your gear, because that makes more sense and it's easier, bud.
I'm not going to say that's never happened for a 6 o'clock practice.
No, you have not. You have not gone to bed in your gear.
Honestly, I'm not just saying this for comic effect. I've done it. No, bottom part, not like my gear. I don't put all my gear on.
The bottom.
I've done it to get more
Like
sleep.
shin
honestly.
pads and
Sleep's
pants.
important to me when I need it. Told you guys I only get 3 or 4 hours at a time. So I conk out. Like I'm 3 or 4 different times during the day having naps as opposed to like 8 hours at night. So I often dress in what I'm going to wake up in. Different little different dynamic over here.
At any point, does showering become a priority at the beginning of your day, or is that like just a once or twice a week
Multiple
thing?
showers a day and at least one bathtub. A bathtub every day with some music, a candle, and maybe a book.
How do you find time in your
talk
day?
about the Oilers at all?
Because I'm doing stuff as I'm doing all this stuff. As I'm bathing, I'm writing out my next podcast or doing research on whatever it is, watching a game, There's always something on the go. I'm not just bathing and sleeping.
So I could see sleeping in the girdle, maybe. There would be some comfort in that.
But do you sleep in shin pads and pants?
No, I don't sleep in them, and that would be a real rarea. But I have done it. Yes, there's
rarity. The answer should be, of course, I've never done.
Well, yeah,
that.
I wouldn't do it more than once every month.
Jeez.
I wish this was for comic effect, but it's certainly not. I skate a lot in the morning. I hate skating at night. I avoid it on all costs. And it's just my night. I want my night to do as I please. I feel I've earned it. And I skate.
I've earned it.
Yeah, I do. And there's skates from 6 o'clock till about noon over here. I can pretty much go on every single day, and that's what I do.
I've earned the right to sleep in my pants and shin pads.
Yes, I am.
Do you really do candles when you do a bath just by yourself?
Yeah, there's candles. Guys, as we speak, there's candles going in my house. I have them 24/7.
Really?
Jeez.
I love
Candle guy,
candles. They make, I got a lava lamp up there that's on right now. And at night when my lights go off, I have like Christmas lights that go all over the house.
Jeez.
You can see them.
Wow.
Busy.
I'm big on ambiance.
Yeah.
I think they're called fairy lights if they're not colored.
No, he's gone. He left.
There's the candle up here.
Okay. Taking us on a tour.
And here's a beautiful raspberry tart candle that I still have going.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
In the morning, light my candles. Nice smell to the house. The
Stand
kittens
up
love
and
it.
show us your hockey gear. You're doing the show in your hockey gear again.
I'm not kidding.
Jeez.
My bag's right here.
That looks
as
like
we're
a tight
done-
wrap. That looks like a tight wrap on the shin pads.
Oh, it is. It's always the same.
Okay.
Jeez.
We could do 2 podcasts a week just on your existence, my friend, but we should probably talk some hockey here. Zuby, we'll check in with you a little bit later. My apologies for everything you had to witness this morning, Zuby. Time for the breakdown, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They've got locations in Calgary and Edmonton. DLR provides beautiful, maintenance-free fencing and decking material, and the key word there, maintenance-free. Keywords. Lots of folks probably thinking about their wood deck or fence right now, looking out your backyard, wondering what's that going to look like in the spring after another winter. Well, you don't need to worry about that. I don't need to worry about that with my beautiful maintenance-free deck from DLR Vinyl Products. They've got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. It's a family business. Give my brother Rick a call here in Edmonton or call Rob out in Calgary. DLR Vinyl Products, beautiful, maintenance-free fencing and decking. Okay, guys, last night's game, not a good start for the Edmonton Oilers. Sounds like the players had something to say after the first period. I don't know what you want to call it, players only meeting, whatever you want to call it. They kicked themselves in the rear end, Struds. Is that, I take that as a positive sign that when a team does that, they can respond the way they did. What do you make of the idea, the players only meeting in a much better second period?
Well, criticism coming from your coach is one thing. Criticism coming from your teammate is really harsh. Like that's when you know that it's a problem. And it can be done in one guy barking at everyone. It can be multiple people challenging each other. It can be grievances being aired. But I think it's a good thing because they have not, the Oilers for the first 5 games never kind of got their full mojo going. After that meeting, we saw what I would call the full mojo. Everyone was going. And that's the team we've been waiting to see. That's the team we saw in the playoffs down the stretch last year. Was a team that just overwhelmed with their speed, their intensity, their forechecking, like all that stuff. We had not seen it. So, who knows what was said? And quite honestly, we'll probably never know. But, TR, those types of meetings that if you're calling me out teammate to teammate, it's a very strong statement.
I totally agree. And constructive criticism from a teammate can be beneficial if everybody's on board. It's how you react. It comes down to leadership. I think there's similarities in the seasons that Edmonton and Vancouver are having, but the differences are the leadership. I really do think Edmonton comes back last night. Now, they didn't have a great period. We all know how good. I think they have confidence in themselves. I don't think they second guess themselves as much as they maybe have in the past. And they knew they were capable of coming back. In the first, I thought it was sloppy. They often track, they're playing decent D. They were giving Pittsburgh room to shoot it. And for me, the hard part was tracking the guy down, giving room to shoot it against a team that can really score. Pittsburgh has a lot of goals per game, and I assume will continue to do that. You don't really want to do that, but it's not like they weren't working hard. It was just sloppy. And they responded. Not only did they respond well, but their captain, one of the best players in sports, gets injured. And, it wasn't cause for alarm. They came back. They played, like you said, arguably their best period of the year. And, I'll say this. I know it's early, but good teams respond well and good teams hold leads. And they did both last night. What started, I think, which looks like a dumpster fire after the first 10 or 15 minutes, ended up being a lesson in how teams respond and how teams lead. I thought it was impressive.
I'm going to go to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. Mark Spector asked a question after the game to Jay Woodcroft. He had heard that Woodcroft went in and peeled the paint a little bit before the players had their discussion. And here he made that suggestion to Woodcroft, and here's what Woodcroft had to say from our Weiss Johnson soundbox.
I heard before the players met and talked to each other between the first and second period that you raised your voice a little bit. Is that...
I would say the reason the team played well was because the players decided to get together, and the players are the ones that solved what was going on there.
See, I'm not sure if Jay Woodcroft, I don't know how often he would have stood in front of this group and raised his voice or yelled or stamped his feet or done that thing that coaches do sometimes when they're trying to get something out of a group. Sounds like maybe he did at some point last night, deflected the praise back onto his players. Does he strike you as a guy that can command the room and kind of get angry like that every now and then? Struddy, every coach has to be.
Yeah, whether he is or isn't, at times you have to, you're the commander of the submarine, of this ship. Like, you need to come in there, and sometimes you got to rock the boat. And, if you're not able to do that, it's not ideal. The players have to know when you're like, okay, this is it. We've got to his breaking point, and things are going to start changing if we don't do it. So, did he go in there? Did he not? I'm not sure. But what I do know is that I really feel that the players talking to the players, when you get called out by a teammate or challenged is a better way. If you get challenged by a teammate, it's way stronger than what a coach says, because these are your buddies. These are guys you're hanging out with, having drinks with after the game. And all of a sudden they say, hey, Terry Ryan, that's not good enough, buddy. You got another gear. You'll find it. You better find it.
I think so as well. I mean, I think it's a great call, mind you, but I think it's a bit of an overreaction by everybody. What you're describing to me, Ryan, is what happens between every period. A players only meeting. It's in between periods. I could see if they all got together on Tuesday with no game till Friday and had a meeting and said, okay, we got to go over this for 5 hours at the rink or wherever at a restaurant. They got together because they were all in the same room between the first and the second, and they had to do something about it. Right. Coach came in, gave him a bit of crap, or whatever he did, motivated them in whatever way. I think good coaches find different ways to do it, and it's a judgment call each time. All I know is that they all came out of that tunnel ready to go. So I think what you're describing is, everybody had a part in taking some responsibility, going out there. They didn't get upset. They didn't snap. The fans didn't snap. They gave him room. I think when you're a good team, I think they've earned, the benefit of the doubt, and they went out and showed why they've earned it.
Last bit on this, back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here's Tyson Barrie. I asked him what they said, what they found.
What did you identify as the issue among yourselves?
It was just, to a guy, everyone just having more and just winning your little 50-50 battles and skating. It just seemed like we were flat-footed. We were getting beat to pucks, and just wasn't the effort wasn't there. It didn't seem like so. Got to give credit to the guys in here to come out and against a good team to put 2 periods like that together.
And Tyson Barrie from the Weiss Johnson soundbox. By the way, a reminder, it's a great time of year to look into a furnace for the garage. Winter is coming. And if you want to let the family get into that nice, toasty, warm car, give them a shout. I've got them coming over to give me a quote on the garage furnace. Looking forward to it. My wife's the one that parks in the garage and would love for her not to have to get into a freezing cold car. They've got some season end air conditioners on sale as well. 15% off right now. Visit the showroom at 5803 Roper Road. That is Weiss Johnson. The other event that seemed to be a catalyst was Connor McDavid going back first into the goal post. I was in the building. There was a gasp. Everybody went quiet. McDavid was clearly in a lot of pain because he's not a guy that stays down. I don't know, looked to me like maybe checking the ribs out, checking the lower back out, got up and left the game. It seemed to me, Struddy, that immediately after that happened, and I'll point to Leon Draisaitl specifically, something elevated. They shifted into a gear that I don't think they'd hit yet this season, truly. And I thought they hit it immediately after McDavid left.
Well, when your captain goes down like that, it is a shock to your system, right? It provides a little adrenaline boost. You don't know what's right or what's wrong with him, and it's scary. Like, crashing into the post, I didn't really do it. Actually, I never did it. Did I hit a few guys into it?
Didn't you do it on a breakaway once? Didn't I see a video recently of your knees buckling on a breakaway and you going into the post?
Breakaway?
I was tripped into the
Wait. Where did this breakaway come from?
It was a skills competition, and I fell into the goalie. But luckily that our starting goalie broke my fall as I crashed into the net. So that was good.
Can we use the video, Zuby? You got to start searching right now, and in post production, we'll roll the video in. Struddy, I saw this hit the internet last week, and like just you, the puck, and the goalie, and like your knees just cratered, like you just cratered.
Yeah, well, why? I hated that thing. I absolutely hated that skills competition. Why would they put me in that? Like, I should have just said I was sick every time it came up. I hate that competition. Anyways, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, crashing into the goalpost. Yeah, you know what? You get an immediate spark, adrenaline boost, right? And you don't know, like, is our guy gone? Is he not gone? Like, our best player, whatever. So I think it's a shock to the system. That it's a little bit maybe what they needed. They were already kind of trending in the right direction, but after seeing that, they're like, boom, okay, let's get going. And they got going. They haven't played like that since last year, and we saw it. Finally within, it's been 15, 16 periods, but finally we saw them get going. And quite honestly, they need to know they can get there, and they need to be there more often, because when they play that way, even whether an undefeated team couldn't keep up with them. It wasn't that it was close, guys. It's that Pittsburgh could not keep up with them, could not touch them for that whole 20 minutes. It wasn't a shift. It wasn't 2 shifts. It was 20 minutes. They could not touch them. And we haven't seen Oilers do that to anyone this year until they got to that second period after the Connor hit.
TR?
Yeah. And, I could have guessed they were holding each other accountable and they had some sort of talk. Because, the way those guys responded, and we all know what it's like. I've been on lots of teams. Even if you're not consciously trying to rely on your biggest leader or your captain, it's a huge dagger when he goes down. And you really see immediately what kind of, jam the team has, right? So good thing for the Edmonton Oilers. They have lots of jam. I want to point one thing out because I always forget to do it, guys, and I watched this guy's progress. Tyson Barrie, I know that he's not known for playing solid D, right? He's more of an offensive guy. But over the years, it's been the knock on him. And I got to say, watching him closely, I think he's improved. I don't think he's great down there. I think there's still some giveaways. But he works hard down there. I think he's coming along. And you want to know a Western League comparison? Nolan Baumgartner, right-handed shot, more offensive than not. But on a team that really held him accountable. I would think you guys, you're all real good defense. When I think of Kamloops, first thing I think is defense. I always name all these players and, scoring, but that's the first thing. It was hard to get chances against Kamloops. And a guy like Nolan Baumgartner bought in because of what you guys brought to the table, and I'm sure, the way you handled yourselves in the room. I see Tyson Barrie. There's another thing for great leaders. Evander Kane seems to be settled down. I think great leaders really bring out the best in some of these players that need it in certain areas. And where Edmonton is thriving on that particular attribute, I think Vancouver is dying. I think it's the same sort of story with a tale of two cities, so to speak.
Yeah.
But one doesn't have as many leaders as the other.
Yeah, we'll dig in on the Vancouver Canucks in our next segment for sure, because it has not been pretty. Leon Draisaitl specifically. So the two sides of Leon Draisaitl were on display last night, from the first period and then to the second period. There was the back check. Darnell Nurse, I think, on the one goal, like, Struddy, did you see that one as being all Draisaitl getting beat to the net by Sidney Crosby? There was a little bit Darnell Nurse flaring out of position. My point is there was a dicey back check. The center is scoring a goal while Leon Draisaitl's feet aren't moving, and he's not back far enough. So it wasn't a great look. All of a sudden in the second period, he just launched into like everything, just not that he was playing poorly before, but the little tiny details that I think matter in Draisaitl's game got cleaned up. The body language, the issues were gone. The back checks were there. The effort level was there. Even hustling a little bit more to the bench, he just seemed to clean up all the little details in his game that have been a little bit sloppy.
He's decided it's like enough. It's time. Like, it's enough. I'm just going to get going here. And that first goal, whether you can get there or not, you have to give a little more juice than that on the back check, right? It's because it's not just the reality of doing it; it's the optics. We talked about against Carolina, Connor McDavid back checking and saving a goal on a penalty kill, or I guess a power play for the Oilers, and then you see that from Darnell. It's just not enough. It's not enough. So you're right, though. He turned it into beast mode, and he turned it over. And no one, when he's playing like that, he is unstoppable. And I'll use that word unstoppable because he's big, he's skilled, he can do anything he wants, he can pass, he can do anything. He's literally unstoppable. And he does that. It's no surprise that everyone around him, TR, all of a sudden looks better. Kane, Puljujarvi, Yamamoto, Nugent Hopkins, they all look better because that guy's in beast mode and everyone on their team is like, oh my God, the big man's rolling. And not to mention we got Connor McDavid on another line. So when he does that, he lifts everyone up with him. And the Oilers, they become what they were in the second period, which was unstoppable.
Hey, Evander Kane, how about that? His second period. From the first period, he was shooting from out. He might have had a few shots, but they were all from the perimeter.
No, he didn't have any TR. And listen, I looked at this. He had 0 shots, 0 shot attempts after the first. In the second period, 8 shots and 11 attempts.
And he shot right away. It must have been in his head because remember that first one off the wing? I mean, you normally wouldn't shoot it from there. But he was almost making a statement. I'm into it. I'm shooting. And then sure enough, right, it snowballed. Guys, I could have told you Draisaitl was going to have a good game right from the first and from the interview before because he got interviewed during the warm-up and he wanted absolutely no part of it. You could tell he was more into the game. It was, yeah, thanks, whatever, see you later. And I was just like, this guy's thinking about the game. He's zoned in. Maybe in the first period he wasn't there as much as you would have thought, but I knew at some point that guys like that bring it. Have you ever known Draisaitl to go too long without bringing it? These guys, it's same thing. It's one thing to talk about Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, but when you say big guns that when they get in a zone, they're better, I got to go back to Kane. He really does make a big difference in the game. I know he's not a super duper star, generational talent like a couple of guys on that team, but he really does change the momentum when he really wants to play. And when he goes to the net, I bet you of all those shots, you kept track, I bet of all those shots, a lot were from in front of the net. He seemed to get them in the hard areas. And it wasn't like he took the puck in there. He went there expecting a rebounder. And, there's a different approach. Taking the puck to the net, of course, I have it. But if you go there without the puck, you're in game, you're in beast mode. And he was in beast mode for the second period for sure.
Yeah, back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here's Evander Kane on that very thing.
I thought a big reason was because we got pucks in that. Breaks on their coverage, it creates confusion in their D zone, and we got a lot of seconds and thirds off that. So that's something we need to continue to do.
Evander Kane actually did have a period when he was a member of the San Jose Sharks where he had 10 shots on net, and we were talking to him afterwards about that. He was actually angry that he only scored one goal. I said, were you kind of feeling it in that second period? He goes, no, I only scored once on all those shots. So has high standards for himself. I think it's good, though, Struddy, for the Oilers that he broke through, because probably one of the more snake-bitten players on the team heading into that game in terms of chances and chances executed.
Yeah, 100%. I think TR nailed it on the head, though. When he drives the puck to the net and he takes his big body to the net, he's going to get more chances. Look at the goal he scored. Puck goes down low. He drives the net. I think it was Leon that passed it back to him. Goal. Like that's what you got to do. When you're kind of hanging back, I don't find it as dangerous. It's when he drives the net. A lot of times his goals are when he's skating towards the net. I mean, most guys are, but when he's not, it's not quite as hard. But he brings a swagger to this team. And Kane is right. When you shoot the puck at the net, as a defenseman, you're reacting. Where's the rebound going? What's going on? Then the scramble's kind of on after that. And forwards love seeing D-men get on roller skates off of a rebound because that's their chance to bury one.
And, a lot of these guys, it does... Again, if I can identify, I'm not close to the player Evander Kane is, but naturally, I hide the label of a power forward and someone that did that and went to the net. But naturally, that's not what I'd say what I want to do, but I just don't go there. I think perimeter, I'm thinking finesse every time. So for me, but I got to say to myself, but I got more to give, and I can do that. And Brent Ashcroft or whoever, go back to Tri-Cities, maybe he can. And Evander Kane, when he makes that decision, I mean, I know people like to play on the perimeter, but he is really talented with the puck. But he's so strong that he brings other people to the net. And there's a level of chaos that goes with it. And those are the kind of dirty kind of goals you need to get, right? Those ones that are bouncing around in front that anybody can kind of get. It's just hard work. And when I say anybody, of course, he's an NHL scorer. But I mean, it's contagious, and you could just tell. And shout out to McLeod as well. I love the way he's progressing. And a lot more patience lately. He showed a lot of it on the goal.
Yeah, he's been showing a nice high level of skill, and when he gets to the inside, he makes a big difference. Because talk about being a perimeter player, that seeps into his game. But when he makes an effort to get to the interior, we see what he's capable of, and he's putting together a nice little offensive start to the season for him. Okay, Oilers 3-3 on their 6-game homestand to start the season. Not what they would have wanted, but some pretty good competition rolled through town. As Jay Woodcroft pointed out, they had been basically played 3 teams in a row that hadn't lost in regulation, and they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Carolina Hurricanes. So they'll grab a couple of positives out of a 3-3 start to the season and head out on the road here, St. Louis, Chicago, and I believe Calgary next weekend. So the team gets a chance to strike out on the road. That was the breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Quick break. When we come back in our takeaways segment, we're going to dig into what the heck is going on with the Vancouver Canucks. No wins through 7 games to start the season. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Mr. Dirk. Checking in with Sterling Dirk inside the beautiful Mr. Dirk shop. People ask me all the time, who is the Mr. Dirk, Sterling? I know it's not you. Who's the original?
So my grandfather was a tailor, and he came over to Canada in 1940s, opened his freestanding shop in 1965. So Mr. Dirk's an ode to my grandfather. He was a tailor, and we keep that ethos of like quality service and community embedded in our store every day. So if you come in, you walk in, you're gonna get a friendly face, a smile, and we're gonna get you suited up head to toe, get you some jeans, shoes, whatever you need. We got you covered.
1939 is on the emblem, and it means something. Truly local, MrDirk.com is where you can see all of their merchandise, or visit them in store right off White Avenue and 102nd Street. Hey, Struddy, question for you. Have you ever tried putting in your own fence?
I sure have. Between digging the posts, mixing up cement and digging the holes, is absolute killer.
It's brutal on the back. Well, listen, what if I told you you could put in a fence without having to dig a hole or mix any concrete?
I'd be much more likely to come over and help you out.
Yeah, well, you're not the first guy I would call, but thank you for that. Listen, my brother's company, DLR Vinyl Products, they've come up with a system where you can actually put high-quality vinyl fence in the ground without having to dig a hole, without having to mix any concrete. They can teach do-it-yourselfers how to do it, and they can also work with contractors who might be looking to start installing vinyl. It's super high-quality product. The great thing about it is that it has fantastic longevity. You put it in, you don't have to worry about staining or sanding or anything like that. I've been lucky enough, Struddy. They've put in multiple fences in my different yards, and they've built me 3 decks. I have totally abused the fact that my family is in the fencing and decking business, but it's great product. Give Rob a call in Calgary or Rick a call here in Edmonton. This is a company my dad started. It's a family business. I'm super proud of it. That's DLR Vinyl Products in Edmonton and Calgary. All right, time for takeaways, brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC, the gigantic dealership just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. Did you know they've been the #1 GMC dealership in all of Canada for the last 5 years? And have you seen the all-new redesigned Sierra 1500? I have. I've got one. It's spectacular. I love it. There's a wide variety of trim levels that are available. I've got the Elevation, which is spectacular. The Denali Ultimate is regarded as the most advanced and luxurious in its class. Sherwood Buick GMC actually has inventory as well. A lot of places are struggling with that, but they can actually get their hands on vehicles for you pretty quickly. And they've got one of the biggest used inventories in the city as well, and they're wide open for all sorts of trades. Go see Phil and the crew down at Sherwood Buick GMC. Friendly, efficient. It's a great way to look for brand new or used vehicles. That's Sherwood Buick GMC, just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. Okay, guys, we got to dig into the Vancouver Canucks here. It's getting ugly. It started as history-making with 4 games in a row blowing multi-goal leads. It has propelled itself into 7 games without a single victory. Struds, you have played in that market. You know what it is like there. This has to be a nightmare scenario for these players.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. And when I look back on last year, I think of the team starting out struggling, their penalty kill being historically bad. Then they make the coaching change with Boudreau coming in, and then they go on a bit of a run, and they're having fun, and Boudreau's Johnny Good Times, and then they get everything going. They narrow their gap on the playoffs. Well, this year everyone's, they're going to be great. Boudreau's there, and they got the same team. Everything's going to be good. But see, I disagree. I've been in situations where you get knocked out of the playoffs, and all of a sudden you start playing better, or not knocked out, but you're theoretically out of the playoffs early. And then you start playing good. There's no pressure. And guys that maybe don't like the pressure, can't handle the pressure, all of a sudden they start scoring. You got a new coach, it's just Johnny Good Times, and you roll. Well, this offseason you go out, you don't make a lot of significant changes to your blue line, and the blue line just isn't good enough. Goaltending solid, pretty good forwards. But I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the way that the Canucks are built. The penalty kill is dog crap again. They can't defend leads. To me, I've watched a couple games. They look tired in the third period, and then they lose again last night. Right? They go in. I think tied into the third, and they end up losing. So, this group, they had a players meeting three games into the season. That is a record. I'm not sure that anyone's had one sooner than that. This team is fundamentally flawed. Until they adjust their defense, I don't think they're going to be good enough. But honestly, guys, I think that the leadership group, and TRE touched on it previously, they're not strong enough mentally to take this on, because it is a complete mess. And they got to find a way to turn around, or else they literally 2, 3, 4 more games like this, and they're out. Playoffs are out.
I agree, guys. Honestly, at the very beginning when I heard the players-only meeting after, and the players know, I guess, but, I was watching the highlights. I said, well, they've had the lead in these games, so, it's just a little rough patch. We're just overreacting, as we do in Canadian media. And then I watched a game, and then I watched again last night, and guys, I honestly, what do you point at? Beginning of the year, I looked at this. You need a team. If you want to have a team that's successful, you'd probably want to start with a stud goalie, a stud D, and strong down the middle. And they've got all of that. So you're thinking they'll fill in the blanks. But guys, after seeing what I saw, leadership and defense, that's what I see. I see a team that it's one thing to respond and have a leader that might. I mean, I don't know. There's probably people in the room trying to lead, but it doesn't look to me that people are taking accountability for their actions. And when I say that, I mean, it's one thing to say what JT Miller did. I didn't think that was a big deal.
About the fans throwing their crap on the ice or whatever?
Well, when he said that, I mean, whatever. Yeah. It's something. He's frustrated. They did throw their crap on the ice. I mean, you could have articulated it a better way. But these people that are saying it, and being called out. They're giving the puck away, guys. Pedersen and Miller are giving the puck away. They're not even trying at some point. So if I'm a fan now, having seen what I've seen, I watched 2 full games, all the highlights. And look, I don't know. I think with that nucleus, I can't believe I'm saying to rebuild, but I don't know. What do you do if you're 0-7? Do you see them being any better? I don't see them responding much better than they are. I don't see any major leader out there. I don't see Pedersen, who I thought was going to be an absolute superstar when I saw him come into the league a few years ago. I don't think he got it in him. Do you see him respond like Draisaitl did last night? I don't see anybody on their team respond like that. I mean, I hope they do. They've got lots of talent, and I love watching all these guys: Pedersen, Miller, Horvat, Hughes, Demko, Besser, Garland. I love watching these guys play individually. But as a group, doesn't seem to be working. So what do? It's been 10 years of being mediocre. If I'm a fan, strip it down. It's tough to do when you got such young players that are so great, but I don't know. It's not working, guys. It's not working.
Here, we'll go to the Weiss Johnson sound box one more time here. Here is Bo Horvat talking post-game.
You got to stay optimistic. You can't just keep, beating yourself up or keep feeling sorry for yourself, because, it's just going to get worse if you do that. So, I mean, we just got to get ready for next game now.
And here's Bruce Boudreau as well.
There was something like we're afraid to push. I mean, you saw when we scored the goal, we pushed and we finally got some zone time and everything else. But it's like they're standing around and looking like, what's going to happen now? And it's unfortunate because I think they all care.
He's called his team, I believe he said, mentally fragile earlier on in the season. Now he's talking about them standing around waiting for bad things to happen. He's being really honest, and I appreciate that. But this is the coach projecting things about his team, Struddy, that are certainly not complimentary, and big problems that he's sensing in his group. Those are big things to say.
Well, yeah, it's a reality. I mean, I've been on those types of teams, and you're waiting for something bad to happen at every turn. And it's a sick feeling. It really is. And I think it was with the Oilers. We went a stretch without almost 10 games without winning. And finally we won a game, and it felt like we won the Stanley Cup. It was horrendous. And you're just going to the rink. You hate it. The coaches are pissed. Everyone's pissed. The media's down your throat. The fans hate you. Like, it is an awful feeling. So, from my experience, the biggest challenge for the Canucks is to somehow find a toehold of positive energy, right? Something. Is it a hit? Is it a fight? Is it a night out with the boys? Maybe just play 3-on-3 one morning for the morning skate. Anything with some music on. Anything to get some energy, positive energy, because it is just, they are in a hole, and that hole is only getting deeper, TR. And without some positive energy, I mean, they have the skill to get out of this. Are they a Stanley Cup winning lineup? No, I don't think so. But they're not a team that should be 0-7. So they have to find some kind of a toehold of positive energy, because right now there is none. They are in a funeral march of a season, and they're not even 10% into their year yet.
Lord, listen, I agree, and I do believe, as Boudreau said, I do believe they care. They don't seem to be a group with a bad attitude. That would be different, but. Let's just take 3 Canadian teams. Okay, let's take Toronto. Let's take Edmonton. Let's take Pittsburgh, who were in Edmonton last night. This is a good example. Let's think your 2 leaders in each team offensively, maybe in the room. Let's take Marner Matthews. Let's take Draisaitl McDavid and Crosby Malkin. Okay, just for argument's sake. Now, do you think Pedersen and Miller, I guess Horvat, do you think they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to what I'm saying is that sometimes... Yeah. You know how Phil Kessel became really Phil Kessel in Pittsburgh? Because he wasn't really his third line and on the power play, and there wasn't so much expected of him that he thrived. Now, I don't know what the answer to this is. I just think these players are those kind of players. I don't think they are going to lead you through anything. I think they're going to be great. If they have a good leader with them, who's going to step up? Maybe it's internal. Maybe someone does step up, and maybe this year is about finding that person, because they do have the parts to make something of it. But again, like you said, Struts, they're built, of course, they're built probably not for the Stanley Cup, but everybody saw them probably making the playoffs. But that's where they've been now for a dozen years. A dozen. Yeah. If you're a fan, I can see how it would be frustrating. But think about it from the other point of view. If they do strip it down, are those fans going to come and pay? And that's a big thing. Are they going to fill the building? I mean, I really don't know. It's a tough decision there from all angles, from the business side of it as well.
And stripping it down, like listen, they paid JT Miller. They gave him the big contract. That signaled it was more about the here and now than it was going to be about down the road. And so they put that contract in place. One positive for them, Miller did have a better game last night. He felt the puck better, got a couple of goals, said afterwards that he felt better. But he was brutal to start the year, and he admitted that he was not feeling it and not playing well at all. So it is here and now, unfortunately for them. Tearing it down, starting again, it's not going to happen. It's about salvaging what they have now, trying to figure out how to make something work this season. But it has to happen soon because 7 games in, and they have not put a 2-point night together yet in Vancouver. And the temperature is going up. The Boudreau watch, it's going to be a daily thing now. He doesn't have the contract, and it's kind of an awkward situation by which he was even brought back. So we'll see what happens on the coaching front there. Okay, guys, that was takeaways brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC. TR, before we wrap it up here, can we talk a little bit about your shot right now? What we're seeing, this is on YouTube. I'm sorry, this is so can you see yourself on your computer, right?
I'm going from this an album cover that.
Okay, hold your mic up. Hold your mic.
Two-Face from Batman. I'm Two-Face.
Hold your microphone up so we can hear it. Just if you're not watching on YouTube, you need to go see. So most of the segment, you're down in the corner of the screen where half of your face is showing. Zuby's not going to be able to fix that, and you have this beacon of light. It's just so distracting.
You know what? I was going to ask you. When I walk around, a beacon of light seems to follow me. I'm not sure. I'm starting to think maybe it's sent from above. I can't get out of it. Look at this.
It's your halo. Your halo.
You're stuck in the light.
It really does seem like that. You said it, not me, Struts.
It's true.
We got to dig deep into the Got Your Back budget and send you a blind. How would that be? Just a blind.
Hey, I don't know if that'd solve the problem. It seems to be divine intervention.
Something divine is happening right now. Look at you. You can see the gap in your tooth through the smile. Smile again.
I love it.
Oh, TR, national treasure. All right, boys, good stuff. Let's check in a couple of days, probably after let me look at the schedule. We're scheduling on the fly here on Got Your Back. Let's check in after the 27th, after the game against the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll drop another pod. TR, I know you're in a rush. You get the gear on, ready to hop in the car, drive around town before heading to the rink.
That's it. I'll be
have a good skate, buddy.
12 minutes from right now. I'll be warming up. I'll be ready to go. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll post.
Yeah, stats.
I'll post the stats. We take it serious too. This noon hour skate.
All right.
And by the way, before I take off, Vancouver fans, there is hope. The hope is that these guys seem to be accountable. There's a difference between having no certified leader, and I'm probably putting down a few of the players like Horvat and Besser and everything. It's only 7 games in, but it's one thing for that. But I don't see any cancers there. I don't see people that are blaming others, and maybe we'll get there. I'm not sure, but if there's any light at the end of the tunnel, I think that's it. They are a better team than they're showing, and I think there's some positive vibes in their future.
No light at the end of the tunnel. All of it is on your face right now, TR.
I love it.
All right, that's going to wrap up the podcast, folks. Thank you for your downloads and your subscriptions. We really appreciate it. Hey, go leave us a review on iTunes. Those help us out as well. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Throw us a review on Got Your Back over on iTunes or Spotify. Big thanks to our sponsors, Mr. Dirk, of course, our title sponsor here on Got Your Back, YEG, DLR Vinyl Products, Sherwood Buick GMC, and of course, our good friends at Weiss Johnson. Terry Ryan has left the chat. There he goes. He is gone. Folks, we'll see you in a couple of days. No, TR, your mic's off. You're gone. He's got the hockey bag. He's out of here. Struds, thanks, pal. We'll see you in a couple of days.
Yep, see you then, guys.
Cheers, folks.